Hey everybody, I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking to you and maybe alleviating some concerns about entering SGOs into the new Genesis portal. And so what I have is there are options to start up to 3 SGOs. Most of us have 1 or 2. And so I'm just going to start a new SGO and I'm going to start SGO 2. But we're going to be in SGO 2. And we're going to confirm that we want to start filling this out. Most of the information that we filled out in My Learning Plan is also going to be filled out in this form as well. It's just going to look a little bit different. You're going to fill out what grade the students are in, the course, subject, number of students, all this stuff. Interval of instruction is something that is recommended to be filled out based on the shared folder that Mr. Yamamoto sent out, and you'll see here he suggests that the interval of instruction is October 2nd to March 2nd. In this box here, you're trying to address certain standards within your content area, whether it's science, English, K5, whatever, okay? But you want to pick the standards that you're addressing and the rationale with why you're picking that standard to address. Okay. Within this box, you are also going to add the assessment method so that people understand how you got that data. Here is your baseline data. Okay. An SGO, student growth objective, in essence is a tracking of your students in terms of growth. And so you need to give students kind of a baseline starting point, and this is where you would enter that baseline data. The contents of these boxes are going to be reflected in a spreadsheet that Mr. Yamamoto wants us to fill out. Okay, so within the directions, and these are the directions that everybody has access to, okay, these directions, there's a link. Okay, there's a link to this particular thing on page 3 and on the top of page 4 that open up this and this. Okay, so here's a demo. Notice here there's 1, 2, 3 different assessments that go into determining a baseline. Now, this is for tiered status, but just because you're tiering a student doesn't mean it can't apply for general SGOs as well. In essence, these markers that you choose, whether it's an NJS score, a PARCC score, previous grade in a previous class, or something that's a little more arbitrary, like markers of future success, or if we have the example here, you can see that there's a work ethic score, combined with things that are definitely more concrete, is going to give you the information that you're going to put in there. And so each of those boxes is going to contain one of those pieces of information. You use PARCC scores and then work ethic score and other information. So combining all of those scores is what's going to give you your baseline. Now for a tiered SGO, you're going to indicate which scores put them in which tiers. So if we go back to the example, you can see like group 1 or the high performing, medium performing, whatever, that puts them in the high group. If there's any qualifier, you may want to put that in information box 5, like maybe they only need to get 3 of these 4 boxes in order to be classified in that group. So basically, whatever that evidence is that you're using, that's what's going to go in these boxes. And then to add boxes, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go down here and we're going to add a preparedness group. And so it gives a default here, group 2, but maybe I want these to be my middle folks. Okay, and so we're going to add that. So then you can put whatever you want here, like PARCC scores between this and this, work ethic score of this, whatever you want here. And so what we have is another tier of data that we can add here. And if you have a third tier, you can add another preparedness group and another preparedness group, which allows us to, and traditionally we've only had 3, but that doesn't prevent you from doing more if you want. And so now here, this is where you define what the actual objective is. Do you want 85% of the students to grow by 15 points? Do you want 50% of the students to know everything? Whatever your supervisor is outlined to you in terms of proper terminology, that goes in this box here. But this is where you put the actual objective. And then within here, you're going to put the how many students are in each group and the target that you want them to attain. And then back here, it gives you each group that you've made and what the percentage is for success. And these are editable too. And again, it's up to your supervisor to approve this. So, I could make this 75 and, it's full proficiency if, 50% and 25. They're not set there, so you can definitely change these as much as you want. But again, they get approved by your supervisor. So if you're doing a general SGO, one that applies to all your students, and you're not going to tier it, you're only going to do one of these, and you're only going to have one preparedness group. You have to have at least one preparedness group. Okay, and you're going to have all the information about it. You're going to still set the objective. Again, how many students meeting what objective? Okay, and then you just pick all the students in the group. And there's a check in here that if you don't have this, because I didn't fill out up here how many students I have, this gives a little thing that says, hey, the number in the group doesn't add up to the number that you put in up above. So that's pretty cool. Okay. Once you get all that information added, that's your SGO. And then you can save it, or you can save and sign and submit it for approval, and that's when your supervisor will get it for review. It's my understanding that if you just click save, the supervisors, administrators cannot see what you have saved. They only see it when you sign and submit it. Okay. Now, that's how you fill out your SGOs. I hope that helps maybe alleviate some of the stress about doing this, and have a great day.